Covington, Georgia, and surrounding areas. Are you ready for the God First Big Sunday Student Takeover 2-year celebration? Sunday, November 3rd, 10 o'clock a.m., 10201 Flat Shoals Road, Covington, Georgia, 3014. Featuring Rodney, Eiler, and Great Exchange.
He's in control. Oh, so wild. The palm of his hand. He's in control. He's in control. I don't have to worry. I don't have to beg. I know. Like on the day of Pentecost, when they were all on one accord, and the Holy Ghost, hey, and the Holy Ghost.
Until then, see you on Big Sunday. Let's go!
I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to hear what you're saying. Our listeners are saying there's no sound. Let's make sure we get the sound correct first to make sure. And so, hey, if I can get a thumbs up from the people, can y'all hear us now? If y'all can hear us now, somebody say yes, we can hear you now. Shout something in that comment field. Let me know if y'all can hear us. Let's go. Okay, I see good now. Listen, introducing once again to all of you, those who were not able to hear but are listening now, we want to introduce you to you, the only and the honorable Kimberly Griggs. Come on.
Good afternoon. I am elect Kimberly Griggs, and I am running for Newton County's coroner. I am honored to be here tonight. Thank you for the invite.
Listen, we have a lot of, and I know you and I teased about this, and I just want to, I'm trying to help Miss Kimberly out. Miss Kimberly really don't like being in front of cameras, so we want to help her out tonight. And so I want to just tease with her a little bit. She's running for a coroner. There's a lot of African American people that has no idea what a coroner is. Can you explain that to us tonight?
Sure. So what a coroner is, a coroner goes out, investigate the cause and manner of death that is not natural. A coroner also signs and give the cause on a death certificate after a death has occurred.
So basically what you're telling us is we don't want to get to the coroner stage, basically, in life. But it will happen. It will happen. We will get to the coroner stage. If you had to speak to the Newton County community, what would you say to them to encourage them to go out and make sure that when they see your name on the ballot, they select Kimberly Griggs?
Well, I am definitely, anything that Kimberly Griggs' name is stamped on, I can assure the community that I go hard for my community and wanting to make sure that I can help the community and anyone that has lost someone and that a coroner has to be, called out to, pronounce the death. I want to do everything that I can do possible to make sure that this family, the families of the community, is served with the highest of respect, integrity, and in a timely manner, and honesty.
So what's some of your I would say your experience that led you to want to even run for this position?
Well, I have been a funeral profession for 9 years now. I am employed with Gregory B. Levitt & Sons Funeral Home. And during the 9 years being employed at Gregory B. Levitt & Sons Funeral Home, I have met numbers of families that have called or stopped by in person with questions that really weren't questions for the funeral home, but they were questions for the coroner's office or the medical examiner's office. And I just took the time out to reach out to those individuals in which that were helping those families to find out the information that those families were needing to know about their loved ones. And I'm also the death certificate coordinator for Gregory B. Levitt & Sons Funeral Home as well. And many families call in wanting to know information about why their death certificates are taking so long, and to explain that process to them so that they can have a clear understanding of what actually goes on with the process. It gives them hope of being able to close out business of their loved one.
We are facing what could possibly be what some are saying could be the most difficult or the most challenging election ever when it comes to a president and a vice president. What are your thoughts on that?
Can you be a little bit more specific?
I sure can. Do you think that this election here rides on the trust of African Americans in our community for understanding that this election is not just about electing the very first woman president, which is important. I get it. It has a lot of substance to it. But how much more important is it that we understand the policies that are at stake right now?
I would say that America needs to really do their homework. Research each candidate and do your homework. Listen. Listen to details. Listen to what's not being said. sometimes your eyes will tell you exactly what you need to do versus your ears. So pay very attention to details of each candidate, their walk, the things that they say. All of that is very important. And vote based on what you feel that will be best for you.
Yeah. Miss Kimberly, let me get myself straight. I only have this one night before election, right? So there may be some things I can say that you probably can't say because I know you are, you're running for a position, and I respect that. But as a pastor of a community, what I've come to see and what I've come to discover is we have too many African American pastors that pastor a certain kind of community but go live in another type of community. So most of the people in your congregation are under one type of political structure. You live in another political structure. And so you don't really understand your own congregation. I'm really to a point now, like, I really don't care what folks think about me because I'm halfway dead. And when I say that, I'm 50 minus 4. I'm halfway dead. Well, actually, I'm a little bit beyond that because they say life expectancy span is about 60-something, 70 years. So I'm a little beyond, halfway dead. I think the African American church, when we look at white evangelicals and what they do in their congregations, no one ever says anything. It's never a problem when they get up and talk about Trump. It's never a problem when they get up and talk against Kamala. It's never an issue. But in our community, we've been trained to get in our churches and be quiet. I don't know how we know systematically we are still under slavery. I don't know if you can answer that. I don't know what your input is on that. But I feel like African Americans need to be more vocal, and we're not as vocal as we should be in regards to where we need to be, if that makes sense. I'm sorry.
I feel that African Americans are not more vocal just from one simple word, and that's afraid.
I agree.
We are afraid of being outcast, shut out, shut down, and it's all about personal appearance and not African Americans as a whole. And it's just being afraid.
Yeah. Again, I just think from a standpoint of, it is amazing to me just to look around on social media, and I see so many of our African American pastors who are very quiet when it comes to this election, when it comes to voting, and we push the agenda of Christ, but we don't live the passion of Christ. So it's one thing to talk about, okay, this is what the Bible says. Well, if we look at it, slavery was taught that we were supposed to be slaves, according to the word, right? So how often do we allow our congregations to hear theology that is false, but we believe it because it comes from a faith that's different from ours? I'm putting you on the spot. I'm so sorry. Listen. Ms. Kimberly, what I want to do is I want to introduce our people tonight to say, listen, we cannot keep being silent. We cannot allow in our break rooms and your job for people to be saying stuff, and like you said, we are afraid. We can't say nothing. We see it even in the stores, the MAGA hats and all of that, and I'm not against that. You stand for what you stand for. I'm not against that. I could very well have some people in my congregation that stands for something different than I stand for. But when does it come to a point that African Americans really do their history, do their research, and say, you know what, I've been bamboozled, I've been fooled?
I think that is a personal journey for each one of us. We have to step out on faith and know that we do have options and have a voice. And until each one of us personally get to that level in our own personal lives, there won't be a change.
Yeah. I believe, so there's a number of people that probably saying tonight, my vote doesn't count. What do you think about that?
They need to do some homework.
Yeah. My vote doesn't count. When I hear that, it kind of gets me, because I'm like, if your vote didn't count, why are there a number of people working so hard to keep you from voting if it didn't count? So I could be wrong, but at the end of the day, I would rather know I casted my vote, and then later on, if it didn't count, I guess what? I still casted my vote. So from a standpoint of Newton County, from a coroner's perspective, what can I do, or what can churches do to help to push our people to go out and make sure they know about a Kimberly?
From a coroner's standpoint, of course, I've never been in a coroner's position, only funeral services. But I have many people from Newton County are familiar with me, or they've heard of me, or we are related. However, what people can do to make sure that everyone goes out and vote for Kimberly Griggs, again, do your research on me. Google me. Ask people that have come to my place of employment. Have they, information of what they know of me? Do not vote based on what you have heard from other people. Vote based on your experience and your research.
Yeah. I was excited to know my oldest favorite daughter. My daughters are very particular when it comes to their father. I see one of them online tonight. Hey, Pooh, I see you. I have to call on my favorite oldest daughter and then my favorite youngest daughter. I was excited to know that both of my daughters went to vote, knowing that at a young age they recognized how important it was for them to vote. And I don't want to bother you on your business. You have any children?
I do.
Okay.
I have twins. They're 26.
Really? My kids are, oh God, oh Jesus, we'll talk later. Listen. What have you done to get your children to understand the importance of voting?
I have always been very big on education. So at, very young ages, I would always make my children read. Education is something that no one can ever take away from you. So I would make them read, literature on many different things as young age and even now. I will send them emails and text messages, TikToks, anything that I see that's on social media that I think they should see that has anything to do with the election. I send it to them. Knowledge is key.
Yes. If you had to look into that camera right there, I know you don't like the camera, but just pick any one of those cameras back there. I want you to look into that camera, and I need you to talk to Newton County. And I need you to get all of Newton County to come and make sure that they vote for Kimberly. Talk to them.
Newton County, it is imperative. I am looking to bring new ideas for families that have lost loved ones, and a coroner has to come out and help the family in their time of need. I am compassionate about what I do, and I am willing and want to become your coroner so that I can make a difference within our one Newton.
Listen, I need to hear from Newton County that's out there. Listen, I got my phone in my hand. I'm watching the comment field. If there's any questions that you may have, things that you want to address, we only have a few days before we go. For those who haven't, and congratulations to those who've already voted before next Tuesday. So we only have a couple of days before we are able to get into a entirely new, what I want to say, when it comes to elections, we're getting ready to go into a new society. We're getting ready to go into something totally different. It's what's shaping this country now is based upon those who are really interested and those who feel like there's no interest at all. So you can either help shape this country or you can help not shape this country. So I want to just ask you a question from the standpoint of, again, being a pastor from the African American church. What do you think that the African American pastor can do to get more of the membership to get a part of voting?
It all starts with educating your community on the importance of voting. What we don't know, we don't know.
Right.
So I feel that if our churches were to educate our communities on the importance of voting, and maybe even having to go back some years of the reason why certain people stood for, some people lost their lives for us to be able to vote today. If the younger society learns and have the correct education and models from the church, then I think that they would get out and vote more.
I'm trying to see, making sure that any questions have been put in our comment fields. I don't see any questions as of right now. But I definitely, first of all, I definitely want to tell you thank you for coming on and sharing with us what you're running for, what you're standing for. And I'm trusting and believing that you'll be the next coroner of Newton County. We need people with integrity. I think one of the things that our offices are missing is integrity. There's a lot of integrity that we need in our White House. There's a lot of integrity that we need in the governor's, position. There's a lot of integrity that we need for mayors and local officials and commissioners and all these different offices. We need integrity. But at the end of the day, I go back to what I said, and I'll kind of try to round it up from this. For the majority of our African American churches, there are a lot of individuals that when they leave the church, they live in communities that their church don't even service. Meaning that they live in communities that, it's 100,000 plus salary type demographics. But most of our churches that we're pastoring, that's not the household income. And so when we go to vote, when we go to cast our vote, we're thinking more so of just ourselves and not the congregation that we're pastoring. So you have majority of a congregation that their household median with 2 incomes don't even reach $100,000 a year. But yet we're casting votes based upon where we're driving to. And I think we got to be very careful as pastors and leaders that, yeah, God may have blessed you, but there are still people in your congregation that's learning biblically and are spiritually maturing to get to a place where they can even receive the blessings of God, to get to a certain place to where our leaders are, and or even not even our leaders, some people that may be in our congregation. So I think one of the things that we need to do first is be more considerate about who's in our pews. You know, because we can hug on folks and love on folks and pray with folks and anoint them with oil. We can do all of that. But you go to your home and this person is going back to somewhere where they don't even know how they're going to make it. So we got to be more considerate about the people that's in our pews. Because the people in our pews are the people that we're trying to push to go and vote, right? So I think from a standpoint of leadership, we've got to be more considerate of the people that we're leading. Now, there are some people that may be leading congregations where majority of their congregation is doing well. But I think that's not the larger percentage of the African American church. I think we got to be more considerate about that. I get it. I get it when people start talking about, pro-life and pro-choice, and we're trying to figure out which way do we go. I think you got to be very prayerful about it, because one person can say, hey, I'm going for this because I don't believe in abortion. But Jesus said, what you do for the least of them, you also done for me. So you may not believe in abortion, but do you believe in taking care of those who are in the minority community? So there's so many different ways to look. I know we talked about this earlier. You said, I was supposed to go. I just believe that we've got to take time to really, we so focused on exegeting the text, we haven't exegeted the pews. We know all about what we're preaching. We don't know nothing about the folk we're preaching to. So I think we got to be very, very mindful of those people who are sitting in those pews. I can get up here and preach a good sermon, but if I don't know where these people are living, I don't know their condition, if I don't know my demographics, and all I want to base it upon is how many BMWs pulling up on the parking lot. You're going to help me, Miss Kimberly. You're going to have me in so much trouble. Can somebody say, Kimberly, help Pastor out, because I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want to be in trouble tonight, but we only have a few days. A few days to really vote about this. And so I want to look into this camera and say to those of you who are trying to consider, should I vote or not? Think more than beyond yourself. Maybe your life is great, but what about those whose life isn't great right now? Like, what can we do to make sure that we're looking at the policies of this country and not just the personalities of those who are running for office? Help me, Ms. Campbell. We got about 5 minutes. I'm going to let you go.
I definitely agree with what you're stating as far as not voting for a person based on looks, personality. We need to know how we will be served as a whole, not just one demographic or group of people, but as a whole. Everyone does not live the same lifestyle, and we have to be mindful of that.
Yeah, I haven't always lived in Buckhead. There was days, Deacon Quinn. I know both Buckhead and Bankhead, so to speak. And I think for the majority of individuals, we are so connected to wanting to live in Buckhead. And I'm saying that from an analogy standpoint, that we forget about how important it is to look out for the folk in Bankhead. I believe this election is going to be very, very important to understand, are you more considerate about Buckhead? How much love do you still have for Bankhead? I believe right here in Newton County, I believe in Newton County. I was just the other day, I was at the grocery store. Matter of fact, today, Brian passed the grocery store. I mean, even in Newton County, now, you know, normally some stuff you only see in Atlanta, right? You think you would. Out here in Newton County, I seen somebody pushing a buggy with, and I'm like, this is out here in Covington. So it's not just a Metro Atlanta issue. We've got to be more concerned about what's taking place in its entirety of Georgia or America, you know, if you would. But again, we're grateful to have you on tonight. I think I have some people here tonight that's going to be voting for you. Y'all raise y'all hand if y'all, 1, 2, 3. They already voted. We're grateful to have some individuals. Listen, Pleasant View, the People's Church, when you go to the polls, we need you to look for Kimberly Griggs. I need for you to go ahead and stamp that ballot right there. Don't look at no other names. I don't care how cute the names look. Kimberly Griggs. Can somebody type that down in the comment field? Kimberly Griggs. That's what we're going for. That's what we're going to trust in. I appreciate you coming on tonight. We're going to be praying for you. We're grateful for you. And again, listen, if you have not casted your vote, it is very important that you go to the polls and you cast your vote. I want you to remember one thing that I said. Don't be so focused on wanting to live the life of Buckhead that you forget about the folks in Bankhead. All right? Listen, God bless you. Listen, there are going to be a few things that we share with you tonight before we leave. Again, I'm going to share with you a video for our G1 student ministry this Sunday, our big Sunday. We're grateful and happy and excited about what's about to take place Sunday. It's about to be amazing. It has to be amazing because the Cowboys are playing the Falcons, and I'm going to be at church. So it has to be amazing. You got to know how amazing it is that the pastor of the People's Church, who love the Cowboys, going to be right here instead of being downtown. So I need for y'all to be right here with me. Listen here, all y'all Atlanta Falcon fans, don't y'all go nowhere. Y'all need to be right here in church with the rest of us. If I find out that y'all was somewhere else besides right here at the People's Church with the student ministry, me and PJ driving downtown, we're going to go live on y'all and say, look at these church folk right here. They're supposed to be right back in Covington. I promise y'all we're going to come get y'all. Listen, we're going to share a video with y'all. I want y'all tonight to sow back into this ministry. This is how we connect the community, the church and the community. So I want y'all the different ways to give on the screen at this time. So listen, these are the ways that you can give to our church. This is how we're able to go and to go and connect with our different schools. Just a couple weeks ago, I think, if I'm correct, I think we fed over 250 people at one of our middle schools. This is how we're going to help the teachers. And so we want you to be able to sow back into the ministry tonight. Can you do a love offering of $25 tonight? Okay, $25. If you can't do 25, listen, if you just can't do 25, do 50. Do 50, and I want you to look at these different ways to give on the screen, and we are so blessed to have you. Again, thank you, Ms. Greers. We love you. We are backing you. We're supporting you, and here it is, a video that I want y'all to share with y'all, and then we will see y'all Sunday for G1.
Covington, Georgia, and surrounding areas. Are you ready for the God First Big Sunday Student Takeover 2-year celebration? Sunday, November 3rd, 10 o'clock a.m., 10201 Flat Shoals Road, Covington, Georgia, 3014. Featuring Rodney, Eiler, and Great Exchange.
He's in control. Oh, so wow. In the palm of his hands. He's in control. He's in control. I don't have to worry. I don't have to fear. I know. Like on the day of Pentecost, when they were all on one accord, and the Holy Ghost, hey, hey, hey. And the Holy Ghost
Until then, see you on Big Sunday. Let's go!